Hello everybody, my name is KingStix, and in this video we're going to be looking at some of the bigger changes coming up in patch 9.7. These changes should be dropping in roughly 9 days, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Blitzcrank is going to be getting 2 substantial changes. This first one is a little bit experimental and they're not saying for sure if it's coming out, but I think it's worth mentioning, and that is his passive. Currently his mana shield is based off of 50% of his current mana, so if Blitzcrank is out of mana, whenever his mana shield pops, it will be pretty much nothing. What they're doing is changing that to be from 50% of his current mana to being 30% of his maximum mana. Depending on the situation, that will be a buff for Blitzcrank. For the most part, it will be a buff as long as he's not full health, full mana, and he walks into a bush and gets gangbanged. It will be a buff since at most points, whenever he does pop his mana shield, when you're getting him low on health, he will be low on mana. So this 30% of his maximum mana will be giving him a much more consistent, reliable form of tankiness in team fights or in all-ins. The second Blitzcrank change is a lot more solid and is going through for sure, and it is changing the passive on his ultimate. Instead of being a random lightning bolt that just hits a random target around him, instead passively it's going to be giving Blitzcrank a lot more damage on his attacks whenever his ultimate is not on cooldown. Whenever he does use the active part of his ultimate, it will put the passive on cooldown. Depending on how this goes through, this might actually make mid lane or top lane Blitzcrank viable if they push too many stats onto the new passive. Assuming they get it right though, Blitzcrank should stay in the support role. Next up, we have a change to Dark Seal. Currently, it's a really overpowered item. We're seeing everyone who can take it will take it. What they're doing to compensate for its overwhelmingly strong stats is nerfing the ability power from 15 down to 10. All the other stats will remain unchanged, so if you're a champion who normally builds it to take advantage of the corruption potion since Dark Seal buffs healing, then you should still be good to go. Instead of nerfing the AP, what I would personally like to see on it is them nerf or remove the extra healing it provides from potions, because that leads to some really stale gameplay since you can't really get the enemy laner low enough on health to all in them or force them out of lane. Next up, we have a massive buff for Blue Kayne. They are making the cooldown on his E 1 second longer at all ranks. However, if you go Shadow Assassin Kayn, it will be reduced by half. This is a massive incentive for people to actually choose Blue Kayne and feel good about it, not just pick it because they want to feel like they're special or different for choosing it, and actually get a meaningful benefit out of it. This will allow Blue Kayne to get around the map much faster than Red Kayne, and it will also allow Blue Kayne to maneuver really well in long skirmishes or drawn out fights. Next up, we have some nerfs to 𝐒𝐿. This will come to a surprise to people who are in high challenger or people like LS. It's hard to understand why she's receiving these, but if you play in solo queue and you're not in challenger, 𝐒𝐿 is really busted, because in solo queue, unless you're in high challenger, games go really long, a lot longer than they should, and it allows 𝐒𝐿 to scale up to a point where there's no good way to really deal with her. So by no means are these changes meant to balance her in the pro scene or anything like that. It's simply made for mid and lower solo queue, and that is lowering her base damage by 2 and also lowering her AD scaling by 0.5 per level. Her W's movement speed bonus is also getting cut down by a little bit at earlier ranks and getting a minus 10% at its final rank. However, the AP scaling is being increased by 1%. So all in all, not really that big of a nerf on the W, but it does add up a little bit. Next up, on her E, the mana cost is going up at earlier ranks and getting cheaper at later ranks, making it a little bit harder for her to scale, but once again, not a huge deal. They are also lowering its damage based on the enemy's missing health substantially in later ranks, but still allowing it to do the same amount of damage once she has her items by giving it a percentage based on her AP. So until you have those items, you're going to be feeling the struggle a little bit more on 𝐒𝐿 even when you do have your E maxed. Once these changes go through, 𝐒𝐿 will still be a powerhouse in solo queue, but this certainly won't be doing her any favors in high challenger or in the pro scene. I want to briefly mention the Teemo rework. It is still in the testing phases, so it won't be coming out this patch. For those of you who don't know what I'm referring to, basically what they're doing is changing Teemo's passive to be poison, his toxic shot, and they're changing his E to be a very fluid invisibility, while also changing his ultimate to have more charges, but making his ultimate do a little bit less damage. Next up, we have 3 runes in the Domination tree that are getting changed: Zombie Ward, Ghost Pearl, and Eyeball Collection. For Zombie Ward, they're changing it to give bonus adaptive damage every single time you spawn a Zombie Ward. It's a small amount, but it seems to scale infinitely, so if you are crushing a lot of enemy wards, this is something you should really look into taking. Another aspect that they're adding is after spawning 10 Zombie Wards, you will gain 10 adaptive force. This is a little bit of a power spike, so even if you don't get 50 Zombie Wards and you don't have an insane amount of extra damage, if you do hit 10, you will get a nice little power spike. With Eyeball Collection, they are reducing the amount of stacks overall from 20 to 10, while at the same time doubling the amount of stats that you get from a single stack, which might seem kind of pointless to do since you're going to end up with the same amount of stats. The main goal that they're trying to achieve here is slightly nerfing it by taking away how fast you can get them, and also trying to reward you more mentally for getting a stack. Instead of getting 2 eyeballs, big whoop, you can't even feel a difference. Every time you get a stack, you will feel double the difference, so as a rune, it will feel more rewarding to take, at least in the short term. And finally, we have Ghost Pearl, which I am personally most excited for since Ghost Pearl has been a massive pile of crap. Really, nobody takes this rune because it has such little value, and its new effect is whenever your wards expire, they leave behind a Ghost Pearl which grants vision for 60 full seconds. Nearby enemy champions scare away the Ghost Pearl. So you can have out multiple Ghost Pearls at once, so if you're a support, this could be a really good rune option. So if you lay 3 wards down whenever they expire, it will leave a Ghost Pearl behind, giving your team a lot more vision. If you are someone who is aggressive and will be smashing lots of enemy wards, it seems like Zombie Ward will still be the better choice. I am personally most excited for the 𝐒𝐿 nerf. She just ruins solo queue right now for me. Having a bad 𝐒𝐿 on your team that never gets a chance to scale, or playing against an enemy 𝐒𝐿 who somehow wins lane phase, is just too brutal. Something I'm not too excited about is the Dark Seal nerf, because I feel like a -5 AP won't actually do anything and everyone will just keep taking it, since the reason why they're taking it is mainly for the mana and the extra healing it provides. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to support the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help out a lot. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.